A white fringeless orchid is the orchid of the southeast, so it's found right here in Alabama and a handful of surrounding states. Orchids in general in Alabama are pretty rare, but this one is especially rare. It grows in a very specific habitat type. It likes lots of sphagnum moss and typically open habitat, or if it's in the forested area, it likes lots of sunlight reaching the ground. This orchid is federally protected. It's listed under the Endangered Species Act as threatened, and before we started looking for it more intensively in the last few years, it was considered extremely rare. Seeds of this orchid are extremely tiny. They're carried on the wind, so you can imagine how small they are. They actually rely on this fungus for energy, and so in the absence of the fungus, the orchid can't grow. Part of our preliminary surveys ahead of transmission line installations or upgrades to existing transmission lines, we do environmental surveys. So we do wetland delineations, we do stream delineations, and we do threatened and endangered species surveys. So during a survey in 2020 of this line in Fayette County, we discovered the white fringeless orchid, and once we found it in a single wetland, we went back and we surveyed the rest of the wetlands, and we ended up finding it in 4 total wetlands. And once we found it, we implemented voluntary conservation measures. So now that we know it's on our right-of-way, we want to do what we can to protect it. We've partnered with local landowners and nonprofits and federal entities to make sure that we are doing everything we can to manage this species the right way so that it can thrive on our rights-of-way. So once we discovered the species on our rights-of-way, we went into a pretty thorough process of figuring out what the best management actions for it were. We worked with the Tennessee Valley Authority, who has populations on their transmission lines in Tennessee and Alabama. And we worked with our vegetation management crews, which do a great job of managing all of the thousands of miles of transmission lines in Alabama. And we came up with a very tailored plan for the populations that are found on our transmission lines. So what we decided to do was what's considered a conservation technique, and so we are extra careful with the way that we manage these wetlands, and we try to exclude woody stems, so that just means trees and shrubs, and make sure that we give it the best growing habitat possible. So this orchid has a very specific flowering window. So they flower at the very end of July, and typically by the middle or late August, they are completely gone. So you have about a 2 to 3 week window to see them in flower. So the Atlanta Botanical Garden is a great regional botanical garden. They also have a really expansive conservation wing to this. For 2 years now, they have been coming out with us to our populations, and they have been helping us do genetics. So they would take genetic material, take it back to their lab, and then once the seeds mature on the plant, we would come back. We would actually collect the seeds, and they would take them back to their lab, and they do seed banking, so they protect these specific populations' genetics by banking the seeds in long-term storage, and then they also have the capability to grow out the orchid in their lab. This orchid is not the easiest to just go out and view, but if you did want to, you could contact any of the biologists at the Mountain Longleaf National Wildlife Refuge. There are some populations in the Talladega National Forest, and the Atlanta Botanical Garden is heavily involved with this species and would probably love to show it to the public.